So the timer, 3.
Wait, are you introing?
You can do it if you want. You know what? Yeah, you're introing. You have 3, 2, 1, and the timer is started.
All right, here we go. AJ, this episode of Opt-in, it's time to talk about misleading subject lines.
Sweet.
Let's hear your thoughts. Let's do it.
So, in my opinion, a misleading subject line is, and I'm going to play a little devil's advocate on this one because I know the answer is don't do it. Like, you don't want to lead your prospects astray when it comes to sending them cold email. It should all flow together. The subject line flows into the intro, which flows into the body, which flows into the CTA. One big old cohesive value add to your prospect. That being said, there is something about the psychology around trying to get people to open your message. Not in a tricky way, but in a way that like kind of maybe makes somebody laugh or gets them to think a little bit and they open the message because of that. In reality, there are too many emails out there right now. Like, people are just getting prospected left and right. The sea is growing and it is all the same color. And if you can find a way to make your emails look different than other people's emails and stand out a little bit, you have to take it because it is getting harder and harder and harder to get noticed as an SDR.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. My thought on it is that a lot of this comes back to one of the vanity metrics that I know we personally have talked about, but one of those metrics that can tell you some things but can be taken in the wrong direction a lot of times, and that's the open rate of your emails, right? Because if you send a subject line, we have a blog on our site that's subject lines like your husband and my child,
yes.
which is obviously like an exaggeration, but the point is if you get them to open your email out of some sort of ruse or a guise that like it's something else going on, that's a bad open. They might as well, you're better off not opening it because then your data is going to be a little bit cleaner. So I think a lot of it is, and like you said, people want their emails to be open and they want to stand out. And I think combining those two things with a little bit of desperation or pressure from above, something like that, is going to cause people to, not the subject line example I just gave, but something along the lines of like just an outlandish sort of statement that has nothing to do with what you're actually trying to pitch or sell.
Yeah, you brought up a point that I didn't even consider, like looking at open rates as any kind of indication of the success of your message. It totally throws this off because if you're sending out wild subject lines like, hey, 5-alarm fire, or like, yeah, your kid's
urgent,
in jail.
anything that says urgent.
Anything urgent, and you're tricking people into opening your message, and you look at it and it's like, oh, my email's got like an 85% open rate or whatever. Your manager's going to be like, sick, dude, let's replicate this across a bunch of different channels. Let's see if we can try and tweak this in a way and A/B test. But you're building it off of a crumbling foundation. Like, this should have never worked, and it doesn't help your prospect in any capacity. So you're almost endangering the entirety of your messaging by using these misleading subject lines. If you kind of backwards waterfall a lot of your success based on metrics like open rate, click rate, reply rate.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, it is a tough line to balance. Like you said, like you have to stand out because there are so many SDRs sending so many emails, which is a different issue for another time, but everyone's coming up with different ideas, you want to try new things as an SDR, but it's important to, before oh, that's a provocative subject line, think about whether or not it actually relates to not only you as a company or you or your product, but to what exactly you're saying in your email. Because like you said at the top, you want it to flow. Even if it's still a relevant thing about your company, but maybe it's like a different vertical, or maybe you're trying to like guess because you don't know much about the prospect. If you make the subject line about, selling into healthcare, and then the body's about selling into data services or something, I don't know good examples. But right, those don't flow together, even though they're both separately things that you could use to pitch or to have it in your email.
Yeah, I think that, we're not trying to say like, don't be creative as an SDR. I think creativity is one of those skills that really sets apart a good SDR from a great SDR. But knowing that creativity has limits almost, and that you can't just be creative to be creative. You have to have some kind of process or structure behind that creativity to understand whether or not what you're doing helps. It moves the needle. If you're just creating subject lines to get opens, it's not moving the needle for anybody but you. And even then it's short-lived. So
It's also important to remember that most email servers or most email platforms show you the beginning of the email before you even open it up.
Yeah, true.
So, like, what, urgent. I can help you save ROI on your that. Those don't relate. So they're gonna know, one way or another. They're gonna find out. So
yeah,
why are you doing it?
Don't trick prospects. Simple.
All right, AJ, 15 seconds. Tell everybody about opt-in.
Opt-in, quick 5-ish minute videos, actionable sales development tips, minimal fluff. You can find us on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on our Instagram, and on the website, demanddrive.com.
Okay, cool. That was good. These are good. I like these.
Yeah, we just need to produce them.
Right. Well, that's the hard part.